also for NIFA in general. With that, we are the agency of NIFA, and three things that you would like to know about NIFA is we are located within the mission area of research, education, and economics. And within that, NIFA is responsible for extramural scientific funding work. So we fund projects. And also, NIFA is investing for long-term viability of U.S. agriculture. So by nature, NIFA focuses on domestic agriculture of U.S. And that's very important to know, although there are activities that are allowed for global collaboration, but it has to have a benefit to the U.S. agriculture. The other thing about NIFA is this agency is a leading agency for funding and giving the strategic leadership for programs with regard to research, extension, and also education. So the three functions of the land grants are also covered within NIFA. Having said that, when we talk about food and agricultural science, NIFA deal with this broad topic, but there are plenty and wide range of topics that are covered under the food and agricultural science. These are the list of topics that NIFA deals with different grant programs. So you can see yourself probably in one of those topics, and you can see NIFA how wide range of topics are covered. And it is sometimes when we talk about food and agricultural science, it seems it's only limited to rearing animals and growing crops. But this definition of agricultural science or food and agricultural science is very wide, and these are the topics that are dealt by NIFA in different programs. With that, I hope it will give you, for those of you who are new, to explore different topics within NIFA. And now we'll deal with the program at hand, the Research Facility Act program. What is this program? This program basically has a purpose of helping the qualifying institution. We will come back to these qualifying institutions which are eligible for this program to apply, but it will cover for construction, alteration, acquisition, modernization, renovation, or remodeling of agricultural research facilities. And these research facilities have to be dedicated to do research on food and agricultural science. So this is the authorizing legislation's purpose for this particular grant or program. This program is relatively new. We started this last year, and we had about 2 million for that particular year. This year, NIFA has come across with a budget cut, and among others, this is the program that has got a budget cut. So this year, we have approximately total of 1 million, which is about the actual money is about 900,000. So very much reduced, but we hope in the future, by looking the demand and the need for this program, it may come back with more, or it may not come back at all. So we don't know about the future of the program, but for this year, we are glad we have some money to disseminate among the successful projects. The activity that are covered by this grant looks as this list. So as you can see, it's not only to build, restore, or renovate a facility or the physical facility. You can use this fund for assessing a site, infrastructure, planning and conceptualizing design for a new, restored, renovated facilities. So very much a lot of activity related with facilities renovation and construction and restoring or modernization of that. And you can use to purchase or install critical building systems such as electrical, climate control, security, life safety, lighting, utilities, and so on. So it has a broad activity that is covered under this grant. When we see about what are the deliverable or what do you get out of the end, it could be a document that determines the visibility of the planned agriculture research facility or site, or it could be a whole building or facility or which has gone through construction, design, or restoration of that. So these are the potential deliverable, but they are not limited to this. So if you do have any question outside those activity and deliverable outcomes, please reach out to us. We can tell you if that activity is allowed or not under this program. What are the most important requirements of this agriculture research facility program? These are listed in the legislation that are also incorporated within the RFA. The first one is there is a requirement for non-federal share. So as it is explained in the legislation, it calls for 50% of the total budget of the project has to come from non-federal share, which means for $1 of federal money, you need to have another $1 of non-federal. That is the minimum required. There is also a requirement, the facility that you are projecting or proposing in this should not be a duplicate. It could be a complement of existing facility, but it does not intend to duplicate existing facilities. There are also listed research priorities, which comes from the legislation 7 USA C 3101. These are also listed on the RFA on page 6 to 7. We put them as priorities of this program. The other thing that this particular legislation stipulates is the long-term support requirement for this project. So the proposal must demonstrate the recipient entity ability and commitment to support the long-term operating and maintenance cost of these agricultural research facilities. So the continuity and the long-term support of the commitment is required. So who is eligible for this particular grant to apply? In principle, there is a wide range of possibility. These are some of the groups that are also very common stakeholders of NIFA. So the 1994 state agriculture experimentation stations, the 1862 land grants, also a lot of these groups that are listed. But if you are not part of this group, the other way to look, as it is explained in the legislation, is to find out if your institution is part of the programs that are under capacity and infrastructure programs. To make it easier for you, we have listed those programs at the end of the RFA, and we try to put all these programs, and then you can check that program. If your institution is recipient of those programs, it will be directly eligible for this program to apply. The application submission and award limitation related to this. So an eligible institution may not submit more than one application. So the legislation limits each eligible institution to apply once. And the award is going to be based on that. It would be 1 hour per institution. So it's very important for the applicants to really talk with your institutions that are responsible for submitting the proposal so that they will uh, uh, choose one of the proposals to be submitted to this program. If we receive two or more from a single institution, we will choose the one that is authorized by the responsible authority in that institution. If all of them are authorized, then we'll contact the institution to choose one of them. As I said, matching requirement is one of the requirements in this, and the way it's explained, this matching requirement is the matching may not be needed to be at hand when you are applying, but by the end of the application process and also the reviewing process, if you are successful, you should be able to verify for the award administration of NIFA process. And as it's stipulated in the RFA, the required matching should be in cash. With regard to the grant type within this, the project type that we are talking about is research facilities, and the grant type is a standard. We have only one type of grant, and we just call it standard. But I will come back. We have different level of project application options. These are the funding level that we call, and we created those to have for all applicants enough opportunities that equates with the available matching. So we have a 100,000 level, 175,000 level, and 250,000 level. So what this means is if you are applying for 200 cost of a project, then you have to come up with the 100,000 from non-federal share. That would be considered part of the cost of the project. So similar to the other level of application. This is basically created to come up with the available fund depending on the institution's availability for the matching fund. As a tip, when you start your application, it's very important to think holistic because agricultural facility requires the involvement of different stakeholders within the institution. The PD and the co-PD may be a research scientist or faculty. They may not have enough information about a lot of the facility requirements. So it is very important from the planning to grant writing process. We recommend that you involve the different part of the institutions that may get involved in the construction or the building of this research facility. The project may be based on the type of project or the scope of the project that you are planning. The funds that are available within this program may not be enough, but you want to use part of this fund for part of your project. That is okay to go about. And in that case, if it is going to be part of a larger project, think about which of this part of your larger project can be covered or funded by this program. Another things that you need to consider is the significance of the proposal you are submitting. So to begin with, the objective or the purpose of this grant is to use this facility for food and agriculture research purpose. So it's important to identify how will your project promote or advance the food and agricultural science research. That is the main purpose of the fund. So federally, we are obligated to use the fund for what is it intended. So this is what it intended for. So you have to show that in your project, the significance of your project to this area. And it's important to identify the audience that are going to be benefiting from this project outcome, and also how this benefit will be in the long run, in the long term. Like I said before, the range of food and agricultural science is very wide. So if you do have specific areas that you are trying to benefit, or you are trying to make use of this facility, you have to be specific in that one also. Another consideration is you have to be considering the scope of the project. With that, like I mentioned before, your intention to have a project for your institution could be very ambitious or very big project, and you want to use part of that big project to be funded by this program. And you have to be very specific in that one to explain the grant and plus the matching that you are going to contribute that is going to cover in that particular larger project or initiative. The other thing is the institutional strategic plan and the long-term goals of your institution should be taken into account. It is usually advisable to align with that one. That will make sense for the reviewers. And also, what are the deliverables and the outcomes of that project should be clearly explained. Another important consideration is the project timeline. I will divide the project timeline before the performance activity and after the project starts. So it's very important to consider if you need to raise fund for the project, you have to put it in your plan. And you have to start that ahead of time to do that. The work plan, the budget, the period of performance should all align to each other based on the contents that you put on those. Another thing is, this is a facility grant. When you are dealing with facility, there is always requirements of it could be a state or local, federal requirements. I will mention some of the federal requirements related to this facility. When you are doing construction, there are specific policies and compliance that you have to go through. So planning ahead to satisfy or to meet those requirements is very important. On the project timeline, like I said, the fundraising, if it's required, the deadline for this one is going to be May 13, but the planning should really start before that. When we talk about performance or period of performance, we are talking about the time when that particular project is going to start charging money to the project, or the actual activity that is going to be included in the project. So the work plan in principle should also include the funding raising or the activities that you are trying to do to fulfill this matching is very important. It will put you in the front that the reviewers will have an idea that what activity you have done to fulfill that. So as an important consideration, if there is a need for fundraising or need to really locate the resource that is required for this matching, very important thing that is needed is to really know who is responsible or who has the capability of within the institution. Like I said before, involving the whole stick members of the institution will help in this case. Sometimes the amount of money that you are looking for could be here and there, and the person who is responsible to locate those should be identified earlier to be successful in this process. So what are we talking about? The application detail and the documents that are required in this process to apply to this program. So the program name is Research Facility Act Program, and the program code is RFAP. And these are the detailed information. As you are aware, it will be closing on May 13. Of course, the original deadline for this one was already passed, but we republished it after suspending it because of the budget uncertainty that we had after we published it. So this is the new deadline. We try to make sure give you enough time to go ahead and apply. The time that is required by each project is going to be decided by you, and the time that we allocated for you is between 24 months to 48 months. So depending on what you are doing, this is the experience we had before. We were trying to put it with the level of funding that is not applicable to some of you. Some of you need less and others depending on the activity. So you are very much free to choose the time that will require a project within that. The maximum that we are going to give per project is going to be 250. This is also coincides with the requirement of the legislation. It says not more than 20% of the fund should go to one institution. We have come up with this table, which is also located on the RFA on page 14. These are the list of documents that are required when you are applying. We have clearly marked, which is required, which ones are recommended, and which ones are required conditionally, depending on the type of application you are using, and also the corresponding size or page limit that we want you to use. This page limits and font size, they are created to have an equal opportunity of competition among applicants. So we are very serious about the mandatory page limit. If a narrative is more than what is supposed to, it means the applicant is taking advantage or getting more opportunity than other applicants. So we do not allow that. So we are going to decline at the beginning of the administrative screening. So pay attention to those page limit and font size when you are preparing your document. So that's related to the requirements of the documents. So each of this part of the components, they have a purpose why we need them. So if they are required, please include in your application. Here is some of the list that are as a national policy requirements, specifically with construction, renovation, and ground disturbance. If your project involves those activity, just be proactive to make sure that you are compliance with those. If you didn't do that, our AMD will follow up with you on the once the award is given to that particular institution, and money will not be released unless there is satisfactory compliance to those requirements. So NIFA only accepts electronic submissions, and we do not accept by email, other type of submissions. The only submission that has to be done should be through the grant.gov. So all the requirements that are needed to get the registration and access to that should be fulfilled by the institution ahead of time. Format of the application or the documents should be in PDF. Anything else, we don't accept it. We have experience of receiving some applications with Word document, but the system will not allow us to read it. So if we cannot read the narrative, if it's written in Word, so we decline the application. The system only accepts PDF. So make sure that you use the PDF format. I know it looks like silly just to make a mistake of formatting, saving it in Word and in PDF, but it has a big consequences on the system and the accessibility of the final project. Usually, a third-party PDF builders are not recommended. Just to be sure, use the PDF regular to be on the safe side. So once we receive your application, we go through the evaluation process. NIFA has established a process of evaluation. This is the process that you see across NIFA, different programs that are competitive. First, the proposal is assigned to reviewers. So one proposal is assigned at least to 3 reviewers. The 3 reviewers is a must one. We add some additional 4th one. Sometimes we call him a reader. And those reviewers, they will review this and they are assigned based on the subject area that they are expert in. So we believe the proposal will get a fair review by doing that. And the reviewers will come up with a summary of each, which focus on the strengths and weakness of the proposal. And this summary or written as a review will be used as a beginning of a discussion during the panel meeting. And this panel discusses each proposal based on the merit, and the resulting consensus from this panel will be given as a final rating and ranking for the proposal. So although the reviewers are individual and we have 3 of them, but the major role of this review panel is very important. That is what decides the ranking, the final ranking and rating of the proposal. So this is a very much established process across NIFA. So for this particular program, to do that, the reviewers will use a criteria. And this criteria is set forth very clearly in the RFA. These are the 6 criteria that we put in the RFA, and each of them are explained well. And this table is very important for you to review, because we try to make correspondence between the review criteria and the project document information, where you can put the information related to those criteria so that it will be very easy for reviewers to find it. So when does the process end? So the timeline for any competitive program within NIFA, the first 1 to 2 months are spent on request for application, proposal writing and planning, and proposal due date. And then the coming 2 to 3 months, proposal will go under peer review. Proposal will be recommended for funding, and the notification will be sent. In the last 1 to 2 months, we finalized the award from our A&D. So this is a very rough timeline that you should expect. So within this, we might be in any of this process. So during this process, we ask your patience until you hear from us. We have several milestones that we try to share with you, where if we have accepted your proposal, and then finally, if it is accepted for review, that will tell you your proposal have fulfilled all the administrative requirements. And then, after the review, we share the notification for both successful and those which were not funded. And then with enough comments from the reviewers, which will be used for improvement of the proposal. With that, those are the program overview that I would like to share with you. We have additional information for if you are looking for upcoming deadline or meeting or webinar, visit to this website. It will give you all the information you need on that area. Upcoming request for application will be also listed on this website. We have several websites that you might find useful for your exploring the NIFA. What we call funding opportunity websites are where the RFA is located. The funding opportunity website for a program will have the RFA for you to download. I think that's the main thing in there, but beside that, also there is a link for the webinar date, and if you want to register for those. All competitive programs go through a flow chart of timeline. This website has that information. The NIFA grant resource has also training upcoming about grant writing and so on this website. NIFA policy is very important, especially if you have an award from NIFA. Reading this policy will be very helpful for you to manage your award on timely manner with the compliance of all the required policies. And indirect cost information is also located on this website. We have also a website for the instruction for submission NIFA application, what we call grants.gov. And there is a guide for preparing that one and submitting to this website. This website has all the information what is required when you are applying for a grant. We also refer to this website on the RFA, but anything that you get on this website, if it conflicts with the RFA, the RFA will override to that. And but it has very useful information, which will give you a detailed requirement for particular form that are associated with the application package and so on. Any awarded information from previously awarded one, you will find on the CRIS website. That is very important to visit. We have it, this Don has put one for this program, the projects that has been funded previously. This is our contact information. Again, today is not the last day to contact us. You can have any question, you can send us by email to me or Donna. We'll try to address your question as soon as possible so that you will be successful